First of all, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's only the All-Star break in the point, but to me, that I'd like your opinion on that. Looked like a pretty complete all-around game in all three phases: penalty kill, power play, special teams, offense, defense, goaltending. That looked like a pretty complete effort tonight. Would you agree that all across the board?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that, whenever you evaluate a game, there's always certain things you can do better. And I thought from start to finish, certainly there were some moments there where you'd like to see us do some things better. But overall, I thought you're right. All components that we talk about on a daily basis, we did some really good things, and it was real nice for the special teams. It's been a while since we've tied some in terms of whether it's one power play goal for each team or 0-0s. But for us tonight to win that battle, that was real key. And when you got four lines that are going and you've got a deep lineup, I certainly think you can wear some teams down. And Syracuse are missing a number of key players, and these are the type of games you need if you want to be near the top of the standings.
That's 9 straight games without a regulation loss. I know there's been ups and downs there, but how do you look at that?
Well, we talked about it. When you have your moments, whether you lose a shootout or maybe an overtime loss, that's what you have to remind the players, that you're still getting points. And certainly there was a couple along the way where you feel that you should have had the win because everybody else seems to win in our division, or the teams that are real close to us do anyway. So then you're thinking, well, geez, you only got one. But overall, when you look at the bigger picture, it's not easy to get points in 9 straight. So I think it's a good accomplishment. And, we finished January off real strong. Last year, I know January, I believe we were 8-1-1 going into February. And this year, we're 7-2-2-2. Played some more games, played 13 games, and unlike 10 last year. So we got to be real happy going into to February, and it's certainly important to win our home games. And I think we got our 16th tonight, which is tied, for the league lead.
And there have been times when you have struggled against them to go up there, to beat them up there, take the bus ride back, and then to do this, something against Syracuse, which you haven't done a lot of.
Yeah, Syracuse has certainly given some fits. My last year for sure, and going back from what I hear 2 years ago as well. So it was nice to finally be able to win some games against them. And that building's tough. They compete. They're a team that competes very hard. And they got a tremendous forecheck, especially in that small little building up in Syracuse. They got the crowd's right on top of you. They're usually very vocal, and there is a good crowd. So it's tough to make plays, and most times you struggle on the breakout. And that's what happened last night at times. I thought we were the better team overall last night, but we did get in some trouble with clean breakouts, and consequently there were some breakdowns, and they had their chances. But I thought last night's game, they made it 2-0, and we talk about special teams. Our power play scored a beautiful goal last night to make it 2-1, and the dynamic of the game completely changed right there. And I thought, overall there were some momentum changes, but overall I thought we were the better team the rest of the way and deserved that win last night.
What have you seen in Gomez in 7 games? Is he still NHL caliber?
Well, I think that's probably unfair for me to answer that. I mean, I think that's, NHL teams that are come scouting us are better equipped to answer that. I mean, certainly he's got vision, and he's got tremendous skill set, and you can see that when he makes plays. And I would think that he, after missing a significant amount of time, is probably still thinking that he could be a guy that's can be in a little bit better shape, and because the speed of the game is there. And the NHL is so structured, and we talk about, and I believe the Bears, or our team, plays a very structured game as well. But the American League is a little bit more chaotic from a structural standpoint, and it's very difficult for an NHL player to come down here, because in the NHL, when you make a play, you know the other guy's going to be there. That's not always a guarantee in the American League. So that's a very difficult adjustment. And but he's had his moments where he's been great. I thought tonight was by far his best game since he joined us. And I think he would admit, and him and I spoke this morning, where last night was probably his weakest game since he came here. But Syracuse rink, small, probably brings him back to his junior days, and it was tough making plays there. So, but, we're an offensive team. We're 5th in the league in scoring. He fits right into that. And, it's kind of a week-to-week thing, and I think he's enjoying himself. Whether an NHL team calls, we'll see what happens. And we'll go into next weekend as another week, and when Sunday comes, Monday, we'll reevaluate. Does he still want to be here? Is it a good fit? Is he going to leave because he's going to the NHL? I guess those are all questions we'll see over time here.
You moved Walks and Barber onto that line with Scott tonight. They paid off big time for you tonight, but what went into that decision to move those two together?
Well, that's a good question, and I just didn't feel last night, and to be honest with you, I didn't feel all week that Bork, Gomez, and Carey were playing well enough defensively. There were just way too many holes in their game, and consequently they were giving up too many chances and getting scored on. So I just felt this morning that it was necessary to break them all up and put one of them on each line. And, Boyder, Collins, and Bork have had some moments together this year that they've been very good. And I wanted to get some speed for Gomez, and I wanted to get some skill. So Walker brings a lot of skill and tenacity on the forecheck, and I wanted to get a shooter, and I thought Barber just felt this morning that would be a good fit. It worked out for one game, and certainly, and if you go to Camper's line, they've had some, when we were shorthanded, Camper and Gaisley and Carey gave us some great games as well. So for one game, those 4 lines, I thought all 4 were going pretty well tonight, but certainly Gomez's line stood out for me as our best line.
Going into the All-Star break, can you kind of evaluate where you're at right now?
Well, I think that's, we're not in first place, so it's still not good enough. I mean, I think that Wilkes-Barre, if they win tonight, they're at 30 wins, and, we're at 24. So, but I think we've had our moments over the first, 46 games where we could be right there with Wilkes-Barre, and we just got to worry about ourselves. And I think home ice advantage in that first round is something to strive for. And as I remember last year, I think we were 8 to 10 points behind Wilkes-Barre and still ended up winning the division. So there's lots of time, but we just got to continue to take care of things here, and that's what we're going to do starting Friday.
You got, with Barber's hat trick tonight, he gave you, I think, 6 players now with 10 or more goals at kind of the, the midpoint of the season. You're starting to get more secondary scoring. How important do you think that is going forward? And do you see it as a good sign with more guys, cracking more goals on a sort of week-to-week basis?
Well, I think that this team reminds me a lot at the forward, when you think of a Gomez, a little bit of a Keith Aucoin, when you think back in 2009-10, just 4 really good lines that could score. And I'm not saying that's going to happen the rest of the year, but certainly from a depth standpoint, I think that's what we're kind of seeing a little bit. And that Sill line just reminds me that, Jodrey line back in the day where they're just going to grind things out. So there's some makings of that. And, hopefully the depth scoring continues, because I truly believe you got to roll 4 lines and you got to have depth to win at this level. And right now we have it. So, things can change in a heartbeat, as we seen a few weeks ago when we dressed 10 forwards one night too. So, but overall, we're very, very happy, and we got some quality guys sitting out right now as well.
What's the break schedule?
We've got 4 days, which is mandatory per the league, and we're going to get back at it Thursday. We're going to practice here at 10 o'clock, and then, we've got basically 3 games in 2.5 days with that 2 o'clock start for the Super Bowl Sunday. So, but a much needed break, and it's nice to go in with 5 of 6 and 9 straight there. You can kind of enjoy it, and just kind of reset the battery, so to speak, because there's only 31 games left now. So once guys come back off the All-Star break, it's, and there's some excitement because, January kind of drags on a little bit, but, we still got lots of work to do, and great bunch of kids that are really improving. As we can see, Barber, I think he's been excellent this week, and the kids are getting better and better. And at the end of the day, for me, they drive the bus. The kids drive the bus. They did it when we had success here a few years ago, and they're doing it now. And you mix in some really good vets, and you should have a good team. So we'll just keep working at that, and hopefully they're ready for playoffs once it comes around. All good. Thanks. See you next week.